So today we are a little bit different. We are not in the studio. We're actually out. Let's see this. Yep. So we're actually out because we're actually on a side gig right now. So on a side hustle, side gig, extra work, whatever you guys call it. Basically, you're just out earning a little bit more money. Let me reduce this. There we go. So I really want to talk a little bit about side hustles because no other better timing to talk about one when you are in one right now. So what's happening right now is we are doing some B-roll filming for a company that we just shot a video for. They needed some B-roll, to supplement the interview that we shot, and that's why we are here at Gardens by the Bay. Let me see. There we go. Starting to rain a little bit. Seek some shelter. Alrighty, so while I'm waiting for Uncle Chan, that some of you might know, he runs a YouTube channel as well. We are pretty good friends, so sometimes we go out to do stuff together, and today is one of those days where we just come out to shoot a video, have some fun, talk about side hustles. We can ask him some side hustles later on. He has quite a few side hustles as well. Alright, so let's talk about what a side hustle is. I think it's not something that is new. It's a new term that we all got no idea about. There are many people doing videos about side hustles. Basically, side hustles are things that you do outside of your day job to earn extra money, and they can come in different forms, shapes and sizes as well. So some people do trading, some people do videography and photography just like me. There are some people that do food delivery, there are people that do writing, there are people that do tuition, there are people that do I don't know, what else do we do? Modeling, cosplay, all that good stuff. So let me give you a little bit of history about how I started my side hustle. So way back in my previous job, when I was doing sales, I think that was where I got a little bit more interested in doing additional work because number one, it brings you income, and number two, the job could be a fun job. So the very first side hustle that I started with was what was I doing? Let me think. Right, so I was a CPR instructor. Yes, I was a CPR instructor, so I was teaching CPR on the weekends, and that would probably net me like $60 to $100 per weekend, which I think it's pretty good money as well. And it's like a 3-hour shift, you earn like $60, and then another 3-hour shift, you earn $60. But there were some prerequisites, like you have to go pass the test, you have to be qualified as an instructor before you can start teaching CPR. So that is something to take note of if you're looking to do like a side hustle kind of thing. And it's one of the cons that we'll talk about in a while. Alright, so we're just going to take a little walk while waiting for Mr. Kenneth or Uncle Chan. And I can show you guys around Gardens by the Bay as well. Pretty nice place. So let's talk about my side hustles, and I do it regularly here at Gardens by the Bay as well. So this is Gardens by the Bay, Secret Life of Trees. So one of my side hustles, or the biggest one that probably pays me the most right now, it's like all this videography, all this photography work, right? So on weekends I do some photography on Airbnb. Granted, I'm not the best photographer, but I think I'm pretty decent to get paid to do photography as well. So that's something I do on a weekend, and once in a while we have like projects from companies who are looking to do interviews, maybe some short videos. So those are stuff that I do as well. Not the easiest of side hustles. It takes up quite a bit of time. I'll be very, very honest. It takes up quite a bit of time because there's a lot of planning to be done, a lot of liaison with different people, and you have to enjoy that as part of the process. Otherwise, you're not going to enjoy yourself while you do your side hustles. So photography, videography, one of my biggest side hustle, pays me pretty decent, I would say. But those two are the biggest ones. And then definitely the next one that we have is you guys here. So on YouTube, I consider it my side hustle as well, because I think I do quite a bit of content about personal finance, money and all that good stuff. YouTube pays me a little bit of money. It's not a lot, like I get like $20 a month. Unless more people watch, then it's gonna be a bit more fun, right? Otherwise, yeah, it's like $10-20 a month kind of thing. But I do enjoy the process because it allows me to keep it as a diary that I can watch 10 years down the road and like, hey, I was doing all this last time. So those were my three biggest side hustles, which is photography, videography, and then YouTube. So I think one of the biggest questions that people will have, or people will probably ask, is that, oh, why should I even start one? If I have a day job pays me well, why would I want to do a side hustle as well? So to answer that question, I think by the time this video goes out, I hope I can release another video that I've already done that will kind of explain quite a bit of things. But yeah, so basically if you do have a side hustle, I think it allows you to do a lot more things, right? You are able to earn extra cash, you are able to do things with extra money as well. So I think these are all things that people really appreciate. Even I appreciate, getting extra money. No one ever complains about extra money. And definitely there are some pros and cons to it as well. So for example, one of the pros of side hustle, I think it goes without saying, is that extra money, you really earn extra money. So depending on the side hustle that you do, it will kind of, depending on the side hustle that you do, it will kind of decide how much money you earn from each gig. So like if I do photography on a weekend, it's probably a couple $100 for like a one day kind of thing. And then if I do something like if I do like a corporate video, then it goes to a few $1,000s. So definitely it earns you quite a bit of cash on the side, which I think is perfectly fine, and it's good money as well, to be honest. So that is one of the pros of having a side hustle. And then depending on the side hustle that you do, it allows you to also meet new people, and then again, meeting new people is a great way to increase your network. You might be able to find a new job if you meet someone new. I think these are all good points to consider as well. And at the same time, maybe it's more for me, but I feel that when you do a side hustle, it's for me, it's like a way of distressing as well, because it gives you a break from your normal day job, which can be kind of stressful at times. And the side hustle that I do allows me to relax because I take photos of birds, people, I get to chat with tourists. So these are all things that I do enjoy as well. So having said that, side hustles do come with cons as well. The good side is you get extra money, you get to meet new people, and it's a way of distressing. So these are all the three pros that we talked about. But there are also cons as well, which is something that you need to consider if you are considering starting a side hustle. And then it's 2023, new year, new me. If you guys want to start a side hustle, I think start considering all these points. So the first con that we will talk about is that most side hustle requires a skill or some sort of skill that you need to have. So this can be like for me, it's like videography, photography. You need to know how to do planning for the shots. Otherwise, you might end up wasting time going to a location and then end up, shooting nothing much. Oh, by the way, that's MBS. Can you guys see MBS right down there? There, MBS. But yeah, so most side hustles, they'll probably require you to have some sort of skill, unless you are doing like delivery, which I think it's a pretty good side hustle as well. So like if you do like food delivery, you do Grab delivery, definitely you need to have a form of transportation, or at least know how to ride a bicycle, or at least be able to walk for long periods of time carrying food if you are doing food delivery. But then if you are doing like just normal Grab, or like depending on where you are, it could be Uber, it could be whatever. Basically transportation, you're fetching people around, you require a vehicle. You might need a bicycle, you might need a car. So these are all some prerequisites that you have to take note of before you start your side hustle. So the next con of a side hustle is definitely time. It takes up a lot of time, and today it's I've been here since 9, it's almost 10 now. Oh no, wait a second. I've been here since 9, it's like 9:45 right now, and it's on a Saturday morning. So sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, but you have to take into account that side hustles do take time. You cannot just earn money out of thin air unless you're in some MLM, you're in some pyramid scheme, or you're doing some DeFi stuff, or investing in stocks. Definitely all those earn you passive income some way or rather. But at the end of the day, I think if you're looking to do side hustles that you want to enjoy the pros of like being able to network, being able to meet new people, being able to de-stress, then you gotta understand that it requires time as well. So let's say if you're picking up a skill like photography, it requires you to have that skill and you need to spend time learning that skill or even get the equipment that you require. So these are things to consider when you are looking to start a side hustle. And definitely the last thing to consider when you want to start a side hustle is whether it will affect your day job. So because it's a side hustle, most of us probably do have a day job, and at the end of the day we don't want to lose our day job just because we're earning extra couple $100 on the weekend. So if you are planning to start a side hustle, you might want to sound out to your manager to say that, hey, on the weekends I do this, is there any conflict of interest? Or if you do it after work, would that be an issue? But I think that as long as it doesn't interfere with your day work, I think no one should really have a say about what you do after work hours. Because as per contract, if you end work at 6, whatever you do at 7 p.m. doesn't matter. Where you have lunch doesn't matter. Where you have dinner, whom you have dinner with shouldn't matter as well. So, but then again, if your side hustle is like a conflict of interest or direct conflict of interest with your day job, then maybe that is something for you to consider and to speak to your manager, your HR team, just to be safe and not get into a lawsuit with the company, because it's not going to be worth it. So enough of the jibber jabber. I think the thing that everybody wants to know is how you can start a side hustle. And I think it's not hard to start one, but there are a few things to consider that we've covered, like the pros and the cons. And what I think works best, or the best way to describe how to start a side hustle, is to look at this Japanese term. It's called ikigai. If I get it wrong, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm not Japanese, so I might not be the best at reading Japanese words, but I think it's called ikigai. So it has these 4 circles, right? Like I'll put a picture on the screen so it's easy for you guys. So it covers things like what you are good at doing, or the skill that you have, and then what the world needs, or the problem that you can solve for the world, what people will pay for, and what you love to do. And in the middle is where everything intersects, and that is where you get ikigai, where you get like I won't say the purest form of life, but at least I think you'll be enjoying what you do on a daily basis and still get paid for it and still impact the world. But then again, that is like that's like the ultimate goal, right? You want to have that, and you might not necessarily come into that situation where you have everything you want in life. Definitely not everybody will be as privileged, as blessed to have that. But at the end of the day, I think there are some compromises that you might have to take to reach the goals, or to reach the place that you want to be at. So I think ikigai is a good place to start. So let's say, for example, if you have a skill set, and let's say you like to do paintings, but then nobody will ever pay for a painting, then maybe that side hustle won't be a good one to have. But it lets you distress, and if you're happy doing it, why not? But then additionally, if someone pays you for it, I think that would be perfect as well. So another example could be like, maybe you love to do gardening, you like to plant little mini flowers, but then in the market nobody likes to buy small little flowers. Everybody wants big leaves, want big flowers. Then maybe that wouldn't be the best. That could be a hobby, but it won't be something that will be able to pay you. And then you might not want to consider it as a side hustle. That could be something you just do to distress yourself, or on days that you feel like shit at work. So to get really started with a side hustle, these are things that you have to consider. Definitely not everybody will reach where they want to be in the next 1 to 2 years, but I think the important thing to do is to really get started. So I think Kenneth is on the way. He's probably going to reach pretty soon. Just waiting for him to give me a call. Meanwhile, I'm just going to shoot some B-roll. Oh, there he is. Hello. Hello? Oh, I'm in Gardens by the Bay. Let me see where. I'm in like the super big tree in the middle. The OCBC Skywalk. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So that's Kenneth. He's reaching. I'm gonna ask him to talk about some side hustles, like what he thinks about side hustles. Okay, Mr. Chan, what do you think about side gigs? Yay or nay?
Yay.
Yay.
I'm fully supportive of side gigs. I think it's important to have multiple streams of income, so that you just have a backup anytime something happens.
So what are some things that people need to look out for if, let's say, they want to start a side gig?
First of all, I think it shouldn't affect your day job.
Right.
Because at least to me, I think the side gigs are mostly focused on it's a side gig, so
Yes,
it shouldn't. If it's earning more than your day job, maybe you
Then-
should stick to your day job. Quit your day job and then stick to the side gig.
Right.
I wouldn't call it side gig anymore.
Yeah. It's a main gig now.
Main gig, yeah.
Then your day job becomes like the side gig. So what do you think people will, what are the challenges people will face? Like say if somebody wants to start a side gig, right? What's the main challenge they will face? Like, so I think that you need skill because some side gigs require you to have skill, right?
Yeah.
Like let's say you do videography, do photography, you need to have a skill set. You cannot just go out and like, hey, you know. So I think skill plays a part, and I think you need a lot of time as well. If you need to hone that skill.
Oh yeah, so I think develop the skill first before starting the side gig, rather than or unless
You start a side gig and then develop the skill.
yeah. Like I guess that's one way to do it also.
Okay. Alright, so we got some tips from Mr. Kenneth as well about starting our own side hustle. I do hope everybody can, kind of do their own side hustle in some way or the other. But definitely you might want to plan out something before you start just jumping head in, like he said. If your side income is affecting your main job, then maybe that isn't something that you wanna work towards. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. We gotta start filming some B-rolls right now.